SEALSQ, ticker symbol LAES, it dropped and we're down on the day. But even with the pullback that happened, I still don't think most people understand exactly what's actually happening here because this is no longer, and for quite some time now, SEALSQ, it hasn't just been a speculative quantum computing company. What they're becoming and what it is becoming is they're aligning with not just quantum, but semiconductors, cybersecurity, AI infrastructure. You got post quantum encryption, and don't forget about the defense technology as well. And now, not only that, SEALSQ, it also just dropped some more news. We're going to be talking about the news release that came out yesterday, but not only that, something else just came out not too long ago as well. And not only are they pushing 40 million euros with the semiconductor project in Spain, they also announced that they are deepening their strategic investment into US based quantum EROQ as of the report that came out today. So, me personally, this caught my attention because this is no longer just, hey, quantum sounds like a cool idea. It's starting to look like a company that's trying to build an entire quantum plus semiconductor plus cybersecurity ecosystem. I started really realizing that this company might be evolving into something much bigger once I saw them stop talking only about quantum headlines. And they also brought up things like semiconductor infrastructure, AI systems, cybersecurity, critical infrastructure, defense applications, sovereign semiconductor ecosystems. Then you got post quantum security and other things that I haven't listed in this list. Because what it is that I think you need to understand is the companies that survive long term, they usually adapt when technology and governments are moving as well. And that's something you could take into consideration when within your own swing and long term, within your own swing trades and long term investments. So in this video, the purpose of what we're going to be breaking down and what I want to break down together with you is the new EROQ investment news that came out today. Why I believe SEALSQ is becoming a lead investor. Why SEALSQ is becoming a lead investor, and the $40 million Euro Spain semiconductor project, and why LAES, compared to other names in quantum computing, are starting to stand out from the crowd. And also, why today's recovery mattered, because we did drop on the day, but we did recover on the day and we did close the day green. And why this story may be much bigger long term than people realize. So, where I think a lot of people get it wrong, they still think every quantum stock is just hype with no commercialization path. They still think that these companies are years away from real world usage, and they still think LAES, SEALSQ, is only tied to speculative momentum. But meanwhile, LAES, SEALSQ is literally, it's literally talking about right now semiconductor manufacturing. You got cybersecurity systems, AI infrastructure. Don't forget about the big beautiful bill and what market benefits from it the most, which is defense and their defense technology, critical infrastructure protection, sovereign semiconductor ecosystems, and post quantum encryption. That's very different, and you don't hear the same type of headlines and the same points when you compare it to other companies like QBTS, Riggedy, IonQ. I could be wrong, and if I ever make any mistakes, please let me know because I'm willing to own up to my mistakes. But I don't hear the same headline when you hear about things like logistics, for example, when it comes to QBTS. And other things that it does, but defense, not necessarily in the same way that IonQ, or not IonQ, that LAES covers, especially with cybersecurity. Now, let's talk about the new announcement that came out today. So, the new announcement, when we click read more under invest and under SEALSQ, which is awesome that we're seeing more PR from the company. But SEALSQ announced that they're deepening their strategic commitment to EROQ, which is a US based quantum computing company. And this is important Because if you enjoy my content, please hit the like and subscribe button. And if you ever need help making better decisions with investing, simply take a look at the first link below to get access to my community and support yourself with like-minded investors and get access to the world's leading AI models, Claude, Gemini, OpenAI, and Grok. Get all of this software for $7 in my community, and my community is free. LAES isn't just some random startup. According to the release, they're developing a patented quantum computing architecture using electrons on helium. And they're trying to create a CMOS compatible quantum system. Excuse me, guys. Oof. Some good cracks right there. And why that matters, in my opinion, but also you guys could agree with me as well. Let me know if you do agree in the comments, and if you enjoy my content, feel free to hit the subscribe button. But why that matters is because CMOS compatibility could potentially scale quantum systems much easier using existing semiconductor manufacturing technology. And according to the release, SEALSQ is now increasing its investment, becoming the lead investor, and helping support future institutional co-investors. And this is a much bigger commitment than just a small partnership headline. And what really stood out to me in this report is what was also mentioned in the report is the release, this specific press release right here. If you do your own analysis and your own research, you're going to see here that what was mentioned is that the LAES, they recently worked with none other than NVIDIA. That's right. We're talking about NVIDIA, the company that literally stalls the entire market, and everybody anxiously awaits to see their earnings report, and everything stalls when their quarterly releases are about to come out. The company stated LAES used NVIDIA systems for a proof of concept autonomous quantum computing tab, and obviously this doesn't mean that NVIDIA owns the company or anything like that. But the fact that NVIDIA technology is being used inside these projects shows how connected AI infrastructure and quantum computing are becoming. And another thing when it comes to SEALSQ, ticker symbol LAES with bullish one-year projections as stated by Claude, is what people keep missing and what they're overlooking is the fact that SEALSQ keeps talking about something that you may or may not have heard, which is the quantum highway strategy, which is basically their long-term vision for integrating classical computing, post-quantum cryptography, and quantum computing into not many, but just one entrusted ecosystem. And honestly, that sounds much bigger than just buy this because quantum is booming and quantum is the hottest sector in the market right now according to the mainstream media. That's not the case, and I don't advocate for that on this channel. This sounds like trying to position themselves inside the infrastructure layer, and then on top of all of that, you still have a $40 million semiconductor project in Spain. Hence the article that came out yesterday, which focuses on semiconductor design, cybersecurity, AI systems, post-quantum technologies, risk-V systems, which we went in deep dive, and which I did cover deeply in yesterday's video talking about LAES, and infrastructure scaling as well are a few of the key headlines and key points highlighted in this article. So when you combine both announcements together, you start understanding why investors are paying attention to the company. You start to see why we've seen certain price action short term, even though we don't focus too much on the short term when it comes to LAES SEALSQ, but just why you may see SEALSQ end up green on the day and move the way it is and continue to move up, even though you got other big name quantum companies like QBTS, for example. They dipped down and they closed. Oh, they actually closed the day green? Oh, okay. So I know they were red earlier on the week, but let's check for other ones. So IonQ, they closed the day green also. It was more of a green day for, Riggedy closed the day red, but I was paying attention to the market today overall, and I did see that there was lots of sell-off in the quantum space. Lots of people Lots of companies like QBTS, Riggedy, IonQ, well, not IonQ, but QBTS for sure, Inflection, um, and Riggedy. I know for a fact that they were down red on the day, and they had unrealized losses, and they were down on the day roughly in the range of about 5 to 7% when I was looking at my portfolio. And nevertheless, going back to the price action of SealsQ, news articles like this and sentiment shifts when it comes to SealsQ as a whole from the institutional investors and the retail investors could be the reasons why we are seeing price action like LAS refuse to sell down, even though there's other speculative quantum stocks that are selling down intraday. And the interesting thing about it is when we talk about the price action, even with the good not earnings report, but the good article that came out, we did have sell off on the day, and we were red roughly about 5 to 7%, and then we shot back up, and we ended up closing the day in the green, but we did have a slight loss, a 2.25% loss, so we were slightly down on the day. I know it shows green on my Charles Schwab portfolio, but or not portfolio, but my trading account, but it's a little different when you look at your brokerage account for your long-term portfolio. So we did close the day red with a 2.25% loss. And even though that's the case, the price action that we saw today was a dip even lower on the day, but then it started to rally a little bit and it started to have some recovery. So even though we've already had huge momentum with SealsQ, and we've had good press releases back to back. And we had that day where LAES led the charge and completely took its own path compared to other big name quantum companies that had sell off activity. They sold off after the big week they had last week with big gains. They still refuse to go down lower. And what this shows is a sign of confidence from the investors in SealsQ as they believe that this stock could be positioning itself in a way where they're going to become a long-term winner, and that is different from the story we've seen a few months ago. So when you zoom out from a macroeconomic perspective, the story starts to get more interesting because this isn't just about quantum computers anymore. This is about cybersecurity. And I'm going to keep on drilling this because I want you guys to understand why I like SealsQ. And again, not financial advice, but why I like SealsQ is the fact that they're not just they don't trade and they don't have the thesis of the stock that I have is not based on a pure quantum play and all speculation. The things that they do to position themselves to stand out from the rest is their position within cybersecurity, semiconductor independence, defense infrastructure, AI systems, critical infrastructure, and post-quantum security. So governments around the world, they're starting to realize that once quantum computing advances far enough, traditional encryption could eventually become vulnerable. And companies that are trying to solve that problem early, like what SealsQ is doing right now, they could become extremely important long term. So basically, it's like being first and getting ahead of everyone else in the race. And as Warren Buffett has said, the stock market is a device transferring money from the impatient to the patient. And Jensen Huang has repeatedly talked about how the future will be driven by accelerated computing, AI infrastructure, and semiconductor demand. And my personal view is sometimes the market reacts to hype first, but conviction shows up during the pullbacks. And another thing I want to add is that the biggest winners are usually discovered before the world fully understands what they're becoming. So I want you all to tell me. I don't want to tell you, I want you all to tell me, do you still think that SealsQ is just another speculative quantum stock? Or do you believe that this company is slowly transforming into a much bigger cybersecurity, semiconductor, and infrastructure story? Let me know in the comments below what it is you think. I love hearing your input. And another disclaimer, another thing that I want to go into is the fact that you have to realize that what do we talk about on this YouTube channel all the time? Don't marry a stock. Some of the risk associated with SealsQ is this is still a high risk stock. The company itself included forward-looking risk disclosures in the filing. So this is not me saying this is guaranteed to succeed, because there's no guarantees in the market. But what I am saying, this company's strategy appears to be evolving much bigger than most people realize. And if you want more updates, I'm talking about updates on stocks that you want covered, like SEALSQ, anything in the semiconductors industry, cybersecurity, individual stocks like CTM, Big Bear AI, SoFi, and other big movers in the market, let me know and in the comment section below. And please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button to this YouTube channel, InvestQ, because I love the support and covering the stocks that you all want to see. And if there's anything else you want to let me know, just let me know in the comments below. But with that being said, stay safe, keep making good decisions with your long-term portfolios, and I'll see you on the next video.